So Eli raised it to 2,200. Gabe called, and I re-raised to about 11,000 with the 6-7 of hearts. Eli folded, and now Gabe made a really strange play and made it 30,000 more.
Right.
It's really strange because he just called 2,200 out of the small blind. Maybe he could be trapping me and being like, oh, that dark kid raises too much, I'm gonna get him. But also very likely he called and then I raised and he said, damn it, that dark kid raises too much. I wanna get him somehow. So I was hoping it was that one.
I thought if I raised him 30,000, if he didn't have a substantial hand, he would go out at that point. I know that he's the #1 gambler and he plays, he would play hands that everybody else wouldn't play in that situation, but I thought that 30,000 was enough to get him to go away, but he didn't go away.
And I decided to call with the 6-7 of hearts. I have position. We still have about 200,000 left, and there's only 85,000 in the pot. And I feel like I'm gonna be able to play my hand profitably, even though it's only 7 high and I just put in $40,000 with it. It might seem crazy, but I think I'll be able to do all right with it.
When 3 small cards and 2 diamonds came off on the flop, I sort of lost heart. I would hate to lose everything in one hand, and I know if he had an overpair like 8s or 9s or 7s or something like that, or 2 diamonds, he wasn't going anywhere. He might even raise me, and I really didn't play that aggressively at all.
Check.
Gabe checked, and for a bunch of different reasons, some are interesting, some aren't, I opted to check. The turn was a jack, and Gabe checked again.
Check.
And same thing as the flop. There's just a ton of stuff going on, and I thought I'd win more money by checking, so I checked again. So now I had a straight. So I was already counting all the money in the middle and hoping that Gabe would throw some more in there so I could count that too and put it in my stack. There was a flush on board, but I was really not very worried about it. If I had bet and Gabe went all in, then I might have started worrying about it, but short of that, there was no way I was gonna even think about folding my hand. And even if that happened, I likely would have called because it's just a really hard spot for Gabe to turn up with a flush after checking the turn. So Gabe checked and I bet around 67, 68,000. And I was hoping he would have ace-king here, you know, preferably 2 queens and just insta-call. But I was hoping to have ace-king or ace-queen and think through the hand and realize that I would bluff here with any hand that couldn't beat ace-king. And also maybe think that I wouldn't value bet wide enough. Even though I likely would have bet a hand like a pair of 8s or maybe even a pair of 5s or something.
I was thinking for a long time, and I'm almost positive he didn't have a flush. He might have had a straight or he might have had 2 pair, because it's pretty obvious that, you know, 2 pair were good, and he put me exactly on the hand I had. But if I check raised them all in, I don't think he would have called me, and I was thinking about doing it. And I think if this was the first week, and I had 150,000, and I started with that, and I, you know, was winning or losing a little bit, and he bet something like, in comparatively the same amount of money, like 40,000. I had 100,000 left, and I raised him. I think he would have gone out. I think he would have gone out in this hand, but I just didn't have the nerve to do it. I got cold feet. I thought about it. I almost pulled the trigger, but it didn't happen.
I only got to count the money in the middle and not the money he could have thrown in.
These guys are such great players that it's hard to really focus in on what they have, especially if you're in the game. I'm really good if I'm not in the game. If I'm watching it, I can tell what people have, usually, and I'm usually right. I got a good batting average when I'm not in the game. When I'm in the game, I'm just like any other player, and I'm a little confused by my opponents. And I think I was playing better last week. I don't feel that I'm as good a player as Dwan. I don't think I'm really as good a player as anybody at the table. You know, I think I'm a good player, but I don't think I'm in their league.
Gabe's pre-flop play might have worked against most players, but once Durr made up his mind, called, and connected, it was going to be hard for Gabe to take the chips.